Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar about college applications and cash for college FAFSA challenge. I'm Angela Jackson. I am the Associate Director for Hawaii P20 Partnerships for Education and the Project Director for the Gear Up Hawaii State Grant. Joining me here today is Gus Cobb-Adams. He is our College Applications and Transition Specialist, and he will be doing most of the presentation today. So just some housekeeping. This is a webinar format, so we won't be able to see you on camera, and you are all muted throughout this presentation. However, if you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat, and I will be monitoring the chat and post those questions to Gus as he is doing the presentation. And as Gus mentioned, this presentation is also recorded so that we can share this with other interested parties that are not able to join us today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Gus.
All righty. Aloha mai kako, pakahia pauloa. Welcome to the UH System Applications and Cash for College FAFSA Challenge Class of 2023 webinar. If you guys don't know me, my name is DJ Gusty Gus. I am the statewide college application and transition specialist for Hawaii P20 and the University of Hawaii System. I'm working on my second decade of college advising and financial aid. I'm living proof that you can make all the mistakes in college and still come out on the winning end, living proof that they give college degrees to monkeys, a monkey just like me. But I also am a staunch college advocate, and I've been supporting students because I truly believe that college is the answer to all of our woes that we have in our communities. So with that said, I am the college application and transition specialist to be talking about college applications and this whole transition thing to college. So we're going to begin with the college application activities in fall 2022. We did a bunch of stuff, but our college application expiration season committee really looked at putting the emphasis back on the schools. And as we opened back up with the pandemic, to really go by a school strategy and let the schools really run how they were going to be doing, supporting students to apply to college. So our CAES steering committee really put together a plan. All of them statewide were working with their individual schools and really targeting school by school how they were going to do this college application. And honestly, it's worked this past fall. We're very happy with where the numbers are. So they yielded to in-person college application events held during the school day that drove this application rebound, and there was a number of them across the state. They were utilizing advisory periods and PTP assignments to gather application information before the events began, which was really a strategy that helps students put together all of the information that they're going to be needing to submit and complete their college application. We want to highlight the brand new Kama'aina application. It was something that they've been doing for a couple of years, but this was the first year that they really unfurled it for the University of Hawaii Community College System. What the Kama'aina application is a easy to complete UHCC system application that made applying even easier. The fact that this new application had all of the download features so that students could share their information and easily transition their high school DOE information from public high schools directly to the application was a big win for the application process. We also want to highlight the Gear Up Week that we had that really was pushed out there to really support the college application expiration season. These were college planning webinars that were done in September to really kick off the college application expiration season. We were lucky to have Nikki Holbrook, Miss Hawaii from a couple of years back, to be our mistress of ceremonies to kick off Gear Up Week. It was an awesome beginning to the college application season. And then college application events partnered with the FSAID workshops were really a key strategy that I saw that really supported college applications and kicking off the financial aid and college application process and the season. Here we are with the undergraduate admissions applications for the University of Hawaii. As you can see, the numbers have held. They've actually gone up for four-year universities, and also compared to the University of Hawaii CC system. So at the end of January, we're seeing our numbers are getting close to where they were in 2019, which really highlights a high for us in college applications, but also FAFSA completion. So this is going to be, you're going to see this 2019 trend, and this year that we're using as a seminal point to really compare how we are doing with college applications and FAFSA completions. So you can see the numbers in the CC system. We were very concerned during the pandemic that students were not going to be applying to the CC system. Those numbers have rebounded thanks to the events that have been going on in your high schools. We wanted to highlight data, and this is really one of the key points that is really helping our high school college counselors and our high school POCs to really utilize the data to target and triangulate students. And the first set of data that you guys have access to is the student level FAFSA completion data, which is through Lei Kulia, which you guys have access to on your high school campuses. This is a student by student report of where students are in the FAFSA process, if they've completed the process or if it's still pending, or if that information is incomplete. High school counselors can actually see that now and actually go and follow up with students directly where they can, because they have a list of students that are saying where they are in this process. The other thing that's happened is that Hawaii P20 has put together a student level application list that is available to all high schools. And this is an aggregate list of all the students who have applied to college through one of the 10 campuses at the University of Hawaii system. This information is file dropped to counselors and POCs, and 32 high schools have signed up. So if you're out there and you have not signed up for the UH Data Initiative to get this needed UH application information, please do so now. Please reach out to us and we can easily send you the forms. All we need is principals to highlight somebody on their campus to receive this information. And then with these two this level of information, we can actually see who has submitted a FAFSA application, and then also who has applied to a University of Hawaii campus. And if a student is telling you that they have done it, but they're not on that list, then that is how we are going to engage students to really complete their college application and get that process going. The last set of data is the school level Cash for College FAFSA completion data that is emailed to counselors monthly. And we're going to start reporting bi-monthly in the month of February because we're getting close to our Cash for College challenge deadline, which is coming up shortly. We wanted to highlight for you guys that the class of 2022 left $3.6 billion in Pell Grant money unclaimed. And this just highlights that there's a bunch of students going somewhere that isn't higher education related. And, this is a trend that we want to, this is what we're trying to mitigate with our college application expiration season events and also our FAFSA challenge and the support that we're doing for financial aid and college applications, because we truly believe that there's money out there to help students pay for college. And this is the mechanism in which we're going to be supporting students to really claim this unclaimed money. The Hawaii State Legislature has put out that number. $10 million is left behind annually for our public high school students. This is something that we know there's monies out there to pay for college. So just highlighting that nationally and the national trend that are happening right now. We want to go through what we've done this past fall to support helping students and parents complete the free application for federal student aid. So we did a whole bunch of stuff in in FAFSA support in fall 2022, starting with our virtual financial aid nights, which is really a financial aid 101 presentation for students and parents to understand the process of financial aid. We held these events every Wednesday from August to October. And then we also had in-person financial aid nights that happened. And these were done in schools that really the high school counselors and also the POCs had control over and invited us to come and support. Once we got into October, we transitioned to a virtual FAFSA completion workshop, which was done virtually. And what we did is we really continued that Wednesday night trend so that students and parents could log on for assistance with the FAFSA to really complete their application. From there were in-person FAFSA completion workshops at high schools. We did 41 sessions of those at different high schools across the state of Hawaii. And then we also maintained an email address where students and parents could email any questions that they might have about financial aid at fafsa@hawaii.edu. This has been very successful, not only to help students and parents with the questions that they might have, but also to support you, our high school college counselors and your high schools directly with information that they can ask quickly and easily through this email. From there, we did 7 virtual financial aid workshops, which were very successful this year. We partnered with Hawaii Community Foundation and the University of Hawaii system with our friends from Sallie Mae to put together a comprehensive workshop on the scholarship process. We also did some virtual in-person scholarship AHA workshops. There were 7 in total. These events are focused on opportunities for Native Hawaiians, and that was held across the state of Hawaii. This has given us really a yield of 40 virtual events in fall 2022, 2,504 registrants, and we got 1,378 attendees. We served about 886 seniors this year through all of our activities that we held virtually. 925 seniors were supported in person at our FAFSA completion events. So you're kind of seeing like a snapshot and an aggregate view of how we're supporting students throughout the state of Hawaii with activities to support students and parents to complete the FAFSA. We also want to highlight the professional development that we've been spearheading, our collaboration with Hawaii P20 and also the Pacific Financial Aid Association to put together these annual professional development opportunities. We had the annual statewide scholarship and federal financial aid update for high school counselors in the communities and our community access partners. That was held on September 16, 2022. This was a great event to really alert counselors to the changes that were happening in financial aid. We're going to be due for a major change in the 24-25 FAFSA that we are holding for right now. And so honestly, the next statewide update that we're going to be having is going to be a huge one that we are going to be really promoting out there to get students and counselors to attend. 185 counselors registered for this event, 114 actually attended. This was done virtually in a webinar format. We are hoping to get back to a more in-person activity. I miss the days when we have breakfast with everybody and really get a chance to see our high school college counselors in person. In addition to that, we had the annual statewide FAFSA 101 workshop. Now, this presentation was really the basic level of FAFSA instructions. This was not for our high school college counselors, but really our other high school counselors and community access partners and teachers possibly, or EAs even, who are working with students to understand this FAFSA process. We held it on September 23rd, 2022. 129 counselors registered and we had 60 attend this presentation. The coolest thing about this presentation is it's really focused on having ancillary staff understand the FAFSA process so they can support students directly, building that institutional knowledge away from just our high school college counselors, because we know our high school college counselors have so many responsibilities out there. We can actually see both of these workshops. They're on our Colleges Within Reach Hawaii.com website. You guys can go to and check out these presentations there. I want to bring you guys to the Cash for College FAFSA challenge, which is what we're here to talk about today, in addition to our college applications. This is basically a statewide competition to help our high schools reach their FAFSA goal and their potential to get more students to go to college. And if everybody's wondering why the FAFSA is such a focus point for college transition, the truth is the FAFSA opens up opportunities to level the playing field for students, especially across socioeconomic lines. Completing the FAFSA means that a student is more likely to be successful in college. When a student has money to pay for books and their tuition and pay for food, a student is going to be more likely to be successful in college. So that's why we are supporting the FAFSA. That's why I'm a staunch proponent of the FAFSA in general. We have an overall statewide goal of 64.2%. 64.2%, incidentally, is the goal, or is actually the number that we had reached in 2019, pre-pandemic levels of college, of FAFSA completion and college applications. So we are really trying to get back to where we were before the pandemic put us in a nosedive with the whole college transition thing. 64.2% completed the FAFSA in 2019. In 2022, that number was 56.9%. 2021 and 2022 were 0.1% difference. So you can see that we really have a ways to go to get back to our goal of 64.2%. So what we did is we put together a competition, and we always like competition. We think it's the thing that drives our high schools. I know the school spirit and personal pride that we have for our high schools really gets back to raising money to support your senior class and support senior activities. So what we did is, for every high school that reached their 2019 goal, we were going to give them $800 to pay for some super duper activity with the senior class of 2023. So any high school that reaches their percentage, their goal that they had reached in 2019, we would give them $800. In addition to that, we came up with a great way to have the competition reach into schools of similar size. You know, it's not fair that we have a school with maybe 500, 600 students compared to a school with only maybe 100. So what we did is we put our high schools into tiers of high school size, which really allowed a competition between these tiers. And what we decided is that we would give $1,000 and $800 additionally to the top high schools in each of these groupings. This allows high schools to really compete amongst each other in their grouping, and also allows high schools to have more monies to win. So $1,000 and $800 additionally to the top 2 high schools in each grouping. But really, we want to see progress in the FAFSA challenge. We want to see schools trying to reach their 2019 goals. So we put together $1,000 and $800 to the top 2 high schools in a group with the largest percent increase from last year, 2022. So it's going on right now. We're going to go through the numbers in just a bit, but we want to really acknowledge 2 of our high schools that have reached their goals already. We want to big shout out to Kohala High School. Aaron Henderson is doing a great job over there in Kohala. Anuenue High School has reached their goal as well. So big kudos to them for reaching their Cash for College FAFSA challenge already in January. And we just want to highlight the numbers right now of where schools are and what the current rankings are. As you can see, Mililani High School is going to be slated for additional monies right now with the challenge because they are doing awesome. They are following their trend data to be on pace to reach their 2019 goal. You can see Mililani there is only 3 percentage points ahead, close to where they need to be. And it really highlights for us how schools can utilize data to boost their rates. We really believe that every school has a chance to reach their FAFSA completion rates right now, even if we just work together to target and triangulate students and work with students and parents and really promote that process. So here we are with Group 1. These are our largest high schools in the state of Hawaii. Group 2, we want to highlight Roosevelt and Kaiser, who are doing unbelievably awesome right now. They're getting very close. They're leading in their tiers, but getting very close to their FAFSA completion rate as of 2019. Group 3, we want to highlight Castle and IAEA, who are really on track right now to get to their FAFSA completion goal and really win their challenge. So very, 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 very promising numbers here for Group 3. And I kind of wanted to highlight Kealakehe, who did a bunch of stuff this fall to reach students. I was there with their FAFSA completion night out there in Kona. Kealakehe did a great job in promoting that FAFSA completion night through their loudspeaker announcements and their posters and flyers, and having their student groups really run and really promote that activity. Group 4, we want to acknowledge Honoka'a and Konawaina, who are doing a great job in FAFSA completion. You can see right now Honoka'a has actually reached their goal as well. So yeah, wow, that is some great stuff that's happening. So this is Group 4. And then Group 5, again, highlighting our smaller schools right there. Really want to highlight Molokai High School, which has a big mountain to climb because they did so well in 2019 in FAFSA completion. But it's amazing to see some of the strategies that they're employing to get students to really complete the FAFSA and talk about the college transition. So this is where we are with our Cash for College FAFSA challenge. Our standings right here. We're going to be supporting students and parents along the way because we have promising practices that we're going to be doing in spring 2023. We kind of want you guys to be aware of a whole bunch of support mechanisms that are out there within your feeder community colleges and your four-year university partners. They are great repositories of information and support for students and families. So we've seen that effective partnering with your community college and four-year university partners is a great way to support your events and also bring in the experts that you might need to do the whole FAFSA thing. That really helps with supporting students and parents every step of the way. We want you guys to use your Lei Kulia student level FAFSA data with your UH application data to really triangulate student by student who has completed the FAFSA and who has submitted their college application. The coolest thing about the UH application data is that it gives you more information about the transition process than really that you need. It's actually more information on where the student is in the whole onboarding process. It identifies things like potential holds that students might have, and also gives you ideas of what students need to submit to their college that they're applying to. We found that doing financial aid 101 presentations increases students' understanding and the urgency of the aid process, and also their own self-advocacy to complete the financial aid. When a student drives the financial aid process, it really makes this whole financial aid process easier. So we strongly recommend that high schools apply some kind of a financial aid presentation to have students understand this process, understand why it's important to do the FAFSA, why it's important to submit your scholarship applications and what goes into that. We found that utilizing advisory periods or senior level English or social studies classes is a great way to promote events or even hold events if it's possible to really engage students about college applications and also completing the FAFSA. We want you guys to strategically use the Wednesday night virtual FAFSA completion events that are going to be held every Wednesday now throughout the spring. There's going to be a Wednesday night virtual FAFSA completion event where you can send students and parents to complete their FAFSA. If a student has a question about FAFSA, these events can also be utilized to really log on with a professional and go through where the student is in this process. So what we're envisioning is that high schools will utilize this time period to schedule their own FAFSA completion events, and then to strategically use the Wednesday night virtual FAFSA completion events as a follow-up event for their process. We also invite high schools to co-host a Wednesday night virtual FAFSA completion event. In other words, I've seen high schools put a whole bunch of students and parents into the library, and they all log on at the same time on their own individual computers. And yet we all stream in through this virtual webinar and utilize our Wednesday night webinars to complete the FAFSA process. So we want to make this as strategic and easy as possible for students and parents to really get this information, and also support our high schools with the knowledge and the support to really get that information out to students and parents. And then finally, we found that schools that utilize FAFSA@hawaii.edu as a resource is a great way to follow up with students and parents and make sure that they are supported. The coolest thing about FAFSA@hawaii.edu is that students and parents and even high school counselors will get answers to their questions within that day. So it's not like they're waiting, a couple weeks for answers about financial aid. This is real-time support when we can do it. If you guys have any questions about who's answering these questions, it is the godfather of financial aid, Mr. Frank Green, and myself, DJ Gusty Gus, that puts together the answers and support for students and parents. We wanted to highlight some FAFSA bright spots, but also acknowledge some of the challenges that we've had this year in reaching students and parents. We want to highlight Kohala High School with the great stuff that they did in the fall. The counselor organized in person during the school day advisory periods of FAFSA 101 presentations for the entire senior class. And this helped have seniors understand the process about the FAFSA and scholarships. And then also on the same night that we did the FAFSA 101 presentations to the entire senior class, we did a FAFSA completion event that drew really great attendance with students and parents. So the same students that were getting the information in the school day about the importance of FAFSA, about financial aid, about scholarships, attended the FAFSA completion event, which really drove their FAFSA completion numbers. They opened with a 30% increase and have already surpassed their Cash for College goal. So this is kind of a strategy that can really be employed everywhere. We want to highlight Molokai High and Intermediate partnering with the Scholarship AHA event, which was in their community, which was hosted at the Education Center at Molokai. What they did is they had in-person during the school day presentations in the library on financial aid and college planning. And they invited the whole University of Hawaii system to come and present to their students about this whole college transition thing and gaining the monies to pay for college. And then in the evening, everybody was invited to attend the Scholarship AHA event, which was really, really successful. I believe Molokai led the entire state in Scholarship AHA events this past year. And then They followed up with a partnering activity with Molokai EC and a senior transition day, which brought the entire senior class to the education center at Molokai to talk about the transition of college, which is really, really successful. They've been doing one-on-one appointments, and I really want to highlight the good work of Marge Bento out there for really coordinating all of the information that's going out to students, and also putting together the experts with students and parents to complete the FAFSA. We're seeing a 22% increase from last year. So Molokai is on their way. I also want to highlight Kona Waina out there in Kona and my good friend Travis Nakayama, who is doing a great job at really hitting students, meeting with students during the school day, after school, pulling them in. We did a number of FAFSA 101 in-person presentations combined with FAFSA completion events at night. And then really Travis driving that whole process with his whole school team and working student by student. He's using FAFSA completion data through Lei Kulia, and he's providing targeted support for students who've said that they have started this process but haven't finished it. And then one of the coolest things that I've seen Kona Waina do this year is really work with targeted specific student populations. Like he's utilizing the ELL students as a special target population to really get in there and reach students as a whole. So great strategies that I've seen from Kohala, Molokai, and Kona Waina. The challenges that we've had this year have been great in the fact that our students really, really are resisting the statewide virtual kinds of events. We've seen, again, a decreased overall participation from 2022 in statewide virtual events. Our FAFSA completion events that we have been maintaining this spring are well below the trends that we had in 2022. So we're really reaching out to our high schools to say, hey, this resource is out there. Let's partner to really boost the attendance here. Low participation rates have still persisted across Windward Oahu areas, Leeward Oahu areas, and then on Kauai and Hawaii Island. So we really, if at all possible, I know internet can be a challenge sometimes, but we would love any support that we can get from our high schools to really utilize the virtual aspects of the resources out there. So what's next? We want to remind you guys that 40% of FAFSA completion happens after January 1st. So now is the time to be doing some kinds of FAFSA scholarship workshops to help students and parents complete this process. We want you guys to know that it's not too late to win the Cash for College Challenge for the class of 2023. We really think that there is things that we can do right now to right the ship, to make sure that the students who are transitioning to college get that support that they need, get that information that they need, get that scholarship information that they might need, this financial aid process thing down, to really make sure that cost is not a factor in their whole college planning thing. We want you guys to contact us to schedule virtual in-person FAFSA completion events or even college application events right now. We know some of the strategies right now with our community colleges is to really have students who have not thought about the college process apply to at least a community college in the spring. The combined application can be part of that to help you guys with that process. So if you guys need support, contact us to schedule a virtual in-person FAFSA completion event or college application event. We can help you be a resource at these events to help students and parents through the process. We're going to be doing a junior jumpstart webinars on how to pay for college. Again, we don't have too much information out there, so we've actually pushed the start date of these events to April. These are going to be junior jumpstart activities focused on the class of 2024 to help students and parents understand the process of financial aid. This is really a way to jumpstart your whole college planning activities. We also want you guys to consider holding a spring college planning night for junior students. in the class of 2024. And ideally, if we could hold a spring college planning night or for junior students, and then have students utilize the how to pay for college aspect of the webinars, that is really the strategy that we're going to get to really jumpstart where we're going to be with the class of 2024, especially considering all the changes that are going to be happening with financial aid. So utilize us. We are here to support you every step of the way. If you need a speaker to support college planning events, you can easily sign up and request a speaker at collegeiswithinreachhawaii.com. That goes to me, and I have lots of friends statewide that we work with to make sure that the college application and FAFSA support is there to support you every step of the way. And that brings my last slide up, and I can take any questions that you guys might have right now, right here.
Thank you, Gus. So please type your questions in the Q&A or the chat area. And we had a couple of questions about percentage of UH students who have completed their FAFSA and or they are Pell eligible. We don't have this data for today's webinar, but it's definitely something that we can follow up with the University of Hawaii to see over a percentage of students from Hawaii that have completed the FAFSA and are Pell eligible. And we will be sharing this PowerPoint and the video recording at our Colleges Within Reach Hawaii website. And I will send all today's attendees and registered attendees a link to the PowerPoint as well to the video. I've also put Gus's email in the chat area, is gusca@hawaii.edu. He is our college transition and application specialist. So if you have any questions about scheduling a FAFSA event, college application event, please feel free to email him directly or contact anybody at Hawaii P20. Lastly, I want to say that with the new Kama'aina app, students can literally complete their college application within 25 to 30 minutes. And it's something that you can possibly include in one of your advisory session or one of your classes to have students complete their Kama'aina application together. Is that right, Gus?
That is correct. Yeah. I've seen students do it as quickly as 5 minutes. We don't want them to do it in 5 minutes. We want to make sure that the information that they're submitting is complete and accurate. But yeah, the process, the questions that they have is so user-friendly. The fact that they can link to their high school transcripts and that information easily gets transferred over through the Kama'aina application and applying to one of the 7 campuses is such a great win for the application process for students across the state of Hawaii.
Okay, so last call for any questions and comments. Keep in mind that the Cash for College data is sent to your college counselors monthly, and actually it's going to soon be every 2 weeks that we'll be sending out the data. And then your principal has also signed up if your principal has signed up for the UH application data, we'll be sending that out monthly as well. I think the first report went out last week. Okay,
It did,
so please work with your point of contact to get access to that information.
Don't forget the Cash for College deadline is as close to March 15th as possible. So that federal report that comes out that is as close to March 15th is that point in time that we're going to take for the deadline for Cash for College. So March 15th gives us a lot of time to do different types of activities to boost your FAFSA rate and get some needed money to support the class of 2023 in their senior activities. The best part about the deadline being in March is that we're trying to expedite that check to our high schools so that they can really be utilized for senior class activities. It's a great way to celebrate the senior experience by also having the students do their FAFSA.
Gus, we have a question from participants. Can FAFSA money be saved for the second semester if you get a scholarship for the first semester?
Okay, so a student gets FAFSA and and they want to save that money because they have scholarships to pay for it. The way it works actually is that the FAFSA monies will be accessed first. So actually, if you do the FAFSA, that money will be allocated towards a student's financial aid, and then any scholarships after that would be applied afterwards. So what we recommend is really to have students focus on FAFSA monies first, and then actually declining any scholarship monies that they might have, because the FAFSA monies is the monies that you can count on. And possibly there might be deadlines. I mean, there might be timelines to be concerned with scholarships. In other words, some scholarships might only support a student for a couple of semesters, maybe a year or maybe a 2-year window. Whereas financial aid, the timeline is definitely longer. So you would have a 6-year period for a 4-year degree for federal financial aid, if that makes any sense.
Okay, is there any other questions? Please type in now. Otherwise, you can always contact Gus directly or email the FAFSA@hawaii.edu email address for these type of questions. And we will have financial aid experts answering those questions on the email. Okay, so thank you so much for attending today's webinar. We were very encouraged with the data that we've seen so far, and thank you all for your hard work in coordinating the activities. And like I said, Hawaii P20 is here to help, and Gus is ready to attend any school organized functions, college application, or FAFSA to support your students. So please don't hesitate to contact us. And thank you very much again for your attendance. Aloha.
Aloha no.